Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another Echoes of Mana video. And look, I did a tier list for Echoes of Mana right when the game came out. I ranked the 4-star characters, and well, looking back on that tier list, let's say I would change some things. Now that I know more about the game, now that I understand the abilities that, if I'm being generous, might be ambiguously worded or worded in such a way that when the game came out, it was pretty hard to understand what a lot of things in this game did. Well, my knowledge has increased, and more importantly, I've gotten my hands on these units, I've used them now, and I think I'm ready to redo this tier list. And as far as our tier list even a good thing to do, I did a poll on my YouTube channel, and it was my most voted on poll ever, I think. Almost 2,000 people voted, which if we had that kind of turnout for elections, the country might... Never mind, this is not a political channel. Let's just say a lot of people voted, and it turns out more than half of people do kind of want to see a tier list. So I'm going to update my first one, kind of fix it. That's what this video is going to be. We're going to rearrange the tier list and add our new characters. But first, a big thank you to the sponsor of today's video, the Amazon Appstore version of the game. Last little reminder here about the special deal for the launch of Echoes of Mana. Goes till the 27th. If you spend 10,000 coins in game the first time, you'll get 1,000 coins back. So that deal's almost over. Take advantage of it now if you can. And you guys know by now, if you watch my channel, any mobile game that I can play on the Amazon version, I just do it because it's saving me money all of the time. Any purchases you make through the Amazon Appstore version, you're saving up to 20%. It saved me a lot of money in my gacha gaming. I'll just put it like that. So if you click my link down in the description or my link down in the comments section, that helps my channel out. If you end up purchasing some Amazon coins after clicking that link, some of that money comes to me instead of just going to the developers and to Amazon or whoever. So I really appreciate you guys supporting me that way. So you can save some money, I can make some money, everybody's happy. Let's get back to the video. Alright, here we are. This is the original tier list, and you can see S tier, I had Shiloh Reese, and I said Shiloh looked to me like the best unit in the game. Is that still true? I don't think so. A tier, I had Sumo Duran Angela. That tier is going to change a lot. B tier, I had Popoi down there in B tier by themselves. Also going to change. We're going to add Keldric and the Crimson Wizard. I know Crimson Wizard is not technically a 4-star unit, but this is more like the premium units in the game tier list. Crimson Wizard definitely counts as a premium unit in this game. I want to include him in the tier list. First things first, let's address the Popoi issue. What I didn't understand when I was grading Popoi earlier, I was looking way too much at stats and not nearly considering AI enough. Popoi is easily a top of S tier unit. They're super good on AI because they'll stay in range, and in manual, they are very, very good at building change. Change. You go to the cashier, they give you some change. No, they're good at building chains. So, especially when the Fire Mage meta that I think will come at some point arrives, Popoi is going to be very crucial along with Crimson Wizard for PvE fire chaining teams in this game. The drawback to Popoi, why they're not an S tier character, mana. On longer fights, you're just going to run out of mana with Popoi. At that point, they're just a boomerang thrower. The boomerang doesn't really do that much damage. Are they safe? Yes, but are they doing damage anymore? No. Still easily A tier, moving them up. Okay, let's address Angela next. Look, I still think Angela's pretty good in manual play. Absolute trash in the AI. Like, the AI just can't play Angela. She's one of the units that I tested in my AI test video. Letting the AI play her on very hard missions. If tuned perfectly, or as perfect as you can, she would almost die in fights. If tuned in any way not perfectly, she 100% died in fights. And these are fights that, like, the rest of the group kind of trashed. So the AI for her is just really bad. I think she does a lot of damage. I think in manual play she's very useful, but I can't put her above B right now. Even though her stat pool is really good, overvalued that before, undervalued AI performance, moving her down to B. Let's address Duran next. Okay, Duran, boom, he's going up. In fact, he's going up above both of these people. Look, Duran is great in both manual and great in auto. Like, the AI Duran is fantastic. He runs at the enemy, he attacks the enemy. If put onto a balanced AI with his special technique on, he will occasionally armor break the enemy and use his special technique for big damage. The really only thing Duran is lacking is a little bit of spirit. I would like him to have some more. and chaining potential. His special technique can build a chain nicely or finish a chain nicely for big damage, but other than that, he's more of an enabler. But as a support, like as a debuffer, he's as good as we got right now in a very physical heavy meta. I mentioned earlier that I think the magic meta is coming. It's not here yet. We're still in a very physical meta. Therefore, I think Duran is like top of that meta. I'm bumping him up to S tier. Okay, let's talk about Sumo. I think I had Sumo in the right spot. Like, I know he's got a heal, and I know that's really cool, and I think he's really good. I think he's like up here with Popoi in A. I think I might have actually gotten this one right. His heal is very useful, and the AI, by the way, will use it more effectively now than before. So I think he's good. He does a lot of damage for what he's doing. He's also pretty tanky. So I'm not blown away by Sumo personally, but I'm also not underwhelmed. I think he fits in the game nicely right now. I'm willing to leave him at an A. Now, let's address Reese. I had Reese as an S tier character before. She's a little too squishy for an S tier. I'm going to drop Reese down into A tier in that like Sumo level. As far as damage dealers in the game go right now, she does a ton of damage. Builds chains, that's her best thing. Her mobility is her second best thing, especially on, if we're talking manual only, she's like up here. Easily up there in manual. But the auto tends to get her killed, and you're doing no damage if you're dead. So if you want to use her correctly in an auto team, I think you need to build her tankier so she won't be dead. In that case, you are lowering her damage, so I'm going to drop her down to A. I think she's better than Sumo, but not an S tier. Again, I'm trying to factor in both AI and manual play here, because you can only be playing one character at a time on manual. Next up is Shiloh. Now look, I really liked that Shiloh was a big tanky boy who could heal himself and heal his teammate when he uses special technique. I still really like that. I know some people don't like Shiloh as much as I do, and I don't disagree with them completely. What I'm going to do is bump Shiloh down to A tier. Here's why. Shiloh to me he's pretty thick. Like, he's not an easy guy to kill. He does a lot of damage, and the thing about his heal that I like the most is the AI will use it. There is one skill in this game that the AI will use consistently, and that's a special technique. You just toggle it on and off. You toggle Shiloh's special technique gauge on, he'll use the thing. Now, it's not as great for healing your ally on auto, because if Shiloh has to get subbed in, it means your ally's dead, and you're never going to have like a low HP ally on the bench with Shiloh unless you're like really manually micromanaging that. So it falls off a little bit there, but he does damage, he's pretty hard to kill, and that heal's nice, especially that it's tied to his special technique. I do like that. I'm going to put him into A tier down there with Reese. So I do think he's in that power level with Reese, but I still think I'd rather have Duran than any of them right now. Nah, I don't mean that. I mean, Duran's more powerful than any of them. I'd still rather have Reese than anybody, because she's my like number one waifu in the game. Now, we need to address our new units. Keldric is up next. I think Keldric slides in right in here around the Reese level. And like, look, I'm not really differentiating between these A tier characters. I think Popoi is probably better than the other ones. These other four, give or take, right? Like, if your biggest gripe with my tier list is you think Shiloh should be right here and Keldric should be here, save it. I'm saying they're basically about the same. Well, still say it. I'm still curious to hear what you say. But look, here's Keldric's deal. He's a really good chainer. His special technique in particular does a lot of multi-hit attacks. He is tankier than Reese, which does help him out a lot. However, he's far less mobile. On manual play, I don't think his ceiling is as high as Reese's, so that's where I'm just going to count him down a little bit. They fill a similar role in a comp where they do a lot of damage, build up chains. I think Reese's ceiling is a little higher, so I'm going to just say she's like maybe a little bit better, but he's right up there. Physical damage chainer. If you have Duran on your team, that's great. His constitution buff is really nice if you can get the AI to use it or you use it yourself. And then next up, we have Crimson Wizard. Now, keep in mind, you can only get Crimson Wizard to level 75 right now. I'm going to put him up here just in front of Popoi. I think Crimson Wizard is on the verge of becoming an S tier character. What could make him S tier? Well, getting more dupes, which right now the only way that we can see in the game to get duplicates of him is by basically doing as much tower as we've already done. Again, that will earn us that many more tokens to get another duplicate of him, which will let us raise his level. Otherwise, he's kind of hard stuck where he is. Still, even with his stat pool stuck in the 70s, or with his level stuck in the 70s, therefore holding back his stat pool, his chaining potential is insane, and his special technique hits really hard. So you can build up a huge chain, drop your special technique for big damage, and then follow that up with like a mega spirit magic summon or something like that for huge potential in manual play. So if we're looking at this tier list now, right, if I was grading this, I would say a couple of things. One, I would say any character in this game, 4-star base character or 5-star base, is super usable. In fact, I would say that about most 3 and 2-star characters in this game. I think you're basically allowed to play whatever you want, and that's great. I do think Duran, in the current state of the game, in my opinion, is better than the rest of the characters. I don't think that holds up forever. I think eventually we will get a 4-star base spirit breaking character, and that will really unlock Popoi and Crimson Wizard's damage potential. Otherwise, the only one in the game right now is a 2-star base character. Gosh, I can't remember his name. It's a 2-star base character with a spirit break. He's the only one. So you have to kind of work him into your rotation for boss fights if you want to do more damage with your mage chainers. So I think Duran's days at the top might not be long, but right now I think he belongs there. And that's my list. That's my little fixed tier list video. Do let me know what you think. I had a lot of thoughts about the last one. I always enjoy reading the thoughts. And you can't hurt my feelings. So like, I know y'all don't worry about that anyway, because I've read your comments. But seriously, don't worry about hurting my feelings. I love it. Alright guys, thank you for watching this video, and I will catch you next time. Peace.